Hey guys, welcome back to Cody Tarot. I'm your tarot reader, Cody. So for today's pick a card, I thought I would try to do my best at a spiritual gifts reading. So we're going to be looking into what are your spiritual gifts. Keep in mind that I am not that well versed in like the clairs or psychic abilities or anything like that, but I do have my own perspective that I see these things through. So I will be giving you your spiritual gifts through my own perspective and through my spiritual understanding of how these things operate. Sometimes my own personal understanding, I'm sure a lot of you are aware of this as well, some of your own personal experiences don't exactly match up to what other people have said their experiences are. So it's like you kind of have like two different worlds, the inner world of spirituality and the outer world of spirituality, or what like most people are talking about. So I'm going to give you my own personal subjective perspective on your spiritual gifts, what I think they are, how you can develop them, and just get into all that cool jazz about how cool you guys are. So yeah, let's get into without further ado, let's get into the reading. So our first group is Yellow Apatite. Our second group is going to be Rose Quartz. Our third group is this Labradorite. Our fourth group is this Amethyst cluster. And our last group is this Lapis Lazuli, palm stone. Tiny palm stone, but still a palm stone. All right, take all the time you need to pick your crystal. You can pause the video here if you need to. And with that, we are going to get on with group number 1, the Yellow Apatite. Hey, group 1, this is if you picked the Yellow Apatite. I know this looks really chaotic. I'm using a lot of different sizes of cards in this reading. But let's flip over all the cards that didn't come up totally flipping upright. And we'll see what you have here. Okay, so first, with your spiritual gifts, there's some things here to talk about. I want to talk about the New Beginnings card first because that's the card that kind of stuck out to me the most. So with New Beginnings, the card actually says, "Let this magic in my spell clear the space in which I dwell." It's about like clearing like your plate for like something new, something fresh to come into your life. But what I'm seeing this here is like you're really able to start new projects with a sense of clarity and a sense of knowing that they will bear fruit. There's an element here that like you know that when you begin new projects, something beneficial is always going to come from them. There's a little bit of like good luck with the star right here. The silver energy of the star brings good luck and serendipity. Basically, and with the New Beginnings card combined, there is this aspect that like you kind of have the magic touch. So that's kind of a spiritual gift that you have, more of like a magical gift. Is you do have this kind of like magic touch to things that whenever you start a new project, it kind of goes really well for you. It's not like you don't run into a lot of road bumps. It's like the more times you begin something fresh or the more times you start over fresh, the easier your life becomes. So you might find that if you ever don't get to experience newness in your life or you don't get to experience change in any way, shape, or form, and your life's pretty stagnant or routine, you'll notice you'll be suffering more. And that's because you're meant to kind of constantly regrow and birth yourself. Like this caterpillar turning into a butterfly, it's a symbol of transformation. So that's a little bit of your spiritual gift, is being able to transform yourself from one state of being into the next. And you kind of, that's kind of like your constant. So you never want to get stuck or stagnate for too long. You always want to be kind of like moving forward. And moving forward is not necessarily the correct term because change can happen in many ways, shapes, or forms. You might feel like you're moving backwards with change, but the thing is you want it to be fresh and new, something different. And that's kind of like how you revitalize yourself. But it's also a spiritual gift in that it like brings you power, it brings you nourishment. It's like you're kind of like a change creator. You're meant to create change. You're meant to create change for yourself and for others and start new projects. You're meant to like clear out the old and in with the new, you know? Think of kind of like the death card in the tarot, where you're kind of like letting go of the past in order. Well, the Death card in tarot is more about letting go. This is more about starting fresh, like not necessarily letting go of projects. It's about starting new projects. Let's see what else. With manas right here, this is my animal, which is animal runic deck. I'll probably write all the decks in the description box so you guys can like look them up and stuff. I got this one off of Kickstarter, right? That's yeah. So manas is like the rune of like that represents man and mankind and like the human being, basically. That's how I see this rune, is like the human being. And this kind of just represents your innate human qualities, like the qualities that you are kind of like can relate to people very, very well. Like you're definitely of this world, very much of this world. You understand people's motivations very well. You yourself are very human, and people like relate to you on that level. They believe that like you have this kind of like way about you that's very like human. It's almost like endearing. And I'm seeing that you're also very playful with manas. It's like you have this like way of like adapting to situations, but at the same time you have a way of like reacting to situations. It's very human. It's funny with Wunjo and Perthro, I always get these two runes confused, so it's kind of funny to me that they came out in the same spread. I think this is the one, Wunjo is the one about like joy, and Perthro is the one about like bearing fruit and stuff. So I definitely see that like with this joy and this playfulness, I'm definitely getting a very lighthearted vibe to you. And the cool thing about that is that is like a spiritual gift in and of itself. Like you're able to spread joy to others. With communication is key. That's one thing that you really have the ability to do. So it's almost like, think of yourself as kind of like the healer of empaths. Like a lot of empaths in this world, like empathetic people, kind of deal with picking up other people's crap all the time. You know, they're picking up all these negative emotions all the time, and they can pick up positive ones too, and that's kind of where you come in. Like you are the counterpoint to the empath. Like you're not necessarily the empath, which I think that you might have. You have empathy. I'm not saying you don't have empathy, but you know, with the King of Cups mixed with the King of Pentacles here, there's this element of being spiritual yet grounded. And I think you can bring that grounded sense to other empathetic people in your environment. So if you know empaths or know anyone who's like an empathetic person, or like suffers a lot because they pick up a lot of sensitivities from their environment, you're the type of person that can infect them with joy and kind of purge out that kind of like, you can kind of purge out that negativity that they've collected. With King of Pentacles here, with King of Cups, you're very, very wise. Like you're very much a master of your medium. So it's interesting because with New Beginnings here, you could assume that you're the type of person who kind of like very page of Pentacles, Page of Cups vibe. You know, it's like kind of just beginning projects and starting in the student role. But the thing is like you're at the point in your life where you're very, very wise. Like all this change and transformation and evolution, basically the more times you start new things and the more new beginnings you have, people might see that possibly as like naive, or in a way like not like, because you're not sticking to one thing, they might see that as like immature. But the truth is you're literally collecting experiences through that, and by the end of your life, and like even at this point in your life, you're probably very, very wise about like all that's going on around you. Like nothing really gets past you, and that's really kind of a cool thing here. It's very much like, it's almost like a claircognizance, but a claircognizance from experience. Like you just know what's going on because you've like been through all the evolutions and the changes yourself. That's where the human quality comes into play right here too, is because you've kind of been through it. You've been through all the changes on a personal level in order to kind of like heal yourself, transform yourself, begin again, you know, and you have that joy that carries you through as well. With the Devil card in reverse, this is like a testament to your willpower. The fact that like you can kind of like, you kind of can get into tricky situations with like either like eating like really addictive food, or doing certain drugs or alcohol or something along those lines. Or even like any kind of thing that is like more sinful and materialistic in this world, like a very material realm. Like you can think of like someone who has like a unbalanced like root chakra kind of thing, like where you basically don't have like the abilities to like stop yourself from eating or drinking too much, or even like shopping addiction or anything like that. This is basically saying that you're able to not only like you can like venture out into those territories, but you're easily able to let go of them at the same time. And that's kind of where this transformation comes back into play too, with this change ability, this ability to create change within yourself, and even I think within others. Yeah, it's interesting that others is coming through really strong here with the engineer card, which says it says ability to give creative energy a practical expression, talent for designing resolutions to common dilemmas. And that's really interesting here with the King of Pentacles and the King of Cups, because with the King of Cups, you've got your creative energy, and with the King of Pentacles, you've got your practical expression. So there is this wisdom or a master of your craft. Like you definitely like take your time when you study things, and you make sure you're like a master at it before you kind of like decide to give advice. I'm definitely seeing this more in the advice realm. And with your creative energy and practical expression, I definitely see that kind of like in the realm of advice. Like you're kind of like an engineer of like advice for other people. And that's where the talent for designing resolutions to common dilemmas comes into play. Like you really can help people get out of tricky situations, tough situations. You do it with a smile. You impart this positivity and joy. You're a great communicator. And you have this good luck and serendipity about you. And that comes from this well of positivity that's always emerging from you. And remember, if you ever feel stuck or that your positivity is not like, the thing is, the cool thing about this pile is the thing that connects you to people in the world and makes you feel happy is this well of positivity that you can share with others. There are actually quite a few people in our world who are empaths, and they need that joy, they need that positivity, because if they don't have that, they're just picking up negativity from all those around them. So your joy and positivity is literally like, I would say in some cases, like in some extreme cases, is keeping people alive, because some people get really down on their luck and they don't feel like, moving forward in their life, and like, I know this is getting to a really dark place, but I want you to really realize how beneficial you are to certain people because of that joy and positivity you bring into their life. It can be really real for someone like that, who just meets you maybe just casually, like, you could like bring such an effect on them, like, oh my gosh, I'm getting teary-eyed. There's just this like positivity about you, and it really like changes people for the better, basically. Now the thing is, if you're ever feeling like you can't provide that positive energy, that's where this new beginning cards comes into play, right? That means you need to start a new project, start something new, get curious about something different, because that curiosity that you have for those new things is what fuels your inner joy, your inner positivity, your inner playfulness. And we see here with Perthro, with the bearing fruit, and also Star brings good luck and serendipity. You're going to be well taken cared for in this lifetime because of these gifts, because you came here to not worry about the stress of material. Like with the King of Pentacles, this is another card about abundance. You came here not to worry about material wealth and security. So never get lost in the realm of like, like material wealth and security, because what I'm seeing here is if you're on your mission, you will be provided for. Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can see anything else. I think that's the main thing. I think in a way you're like a healer, specifically with people who are empaths. It's really important that you find those people, because you're really going to like transform their lives. And transformation is just a key here with this big butterfly just on the table. It's just like makes a lot of sense. Yeah, there's a lot of playful energy in the rune cards. I think that about covers it. Yeah, you have a wonderful ability to communicate, to solve problems. You're practical, you're intuitive yet grounded at the same time. You have both of those, and you've mastered both of those pretty well. Or you will master those if you haven't already. I'm definitely seeing there's a balance here. So if you ever feel like there's a lack of balance in your personality, like one side dominates over the other, it's just as simple as adding the other one into your life. So if you feel like you're a little too practical or a little too earthy, it's a matter of like adding in some spiritual activities, like maybe some meditation or working with crystals or chakra rebalancing or something like that. And if you're ever in the intuitive mindset too much and you feel like a little spacey and out of it, it's important to like go ground yourself, like do some like root chakra meditations, or you can go stand barefoot in like some grass or something and like take some deep breaths and like feel the energy transmuting to the earth and pulling the earth's energy back up into you, stuff like that. Yeah, this is a really cool pile, man. I'm very honored I get to read for you, because you have a very powerful gift. I mean, this really does help people. This helps people like tremendously. I actually think it's pretty rare. It's pretty uncommon in our society, in today's society, for example, to have someone who can just produce joy like that, like out of nowhere. Like you're like literally a fountain of positivity. Very cool. Very, very cool. Well, that's the end of your reading. If you liked your reading, you can like or comment below. If you really like the reading, you can subscribe to my channel. I post pick a cards like this once every 1 to 2 weeks. And with that said, I really enjoyed reading for you guys. You're very special people. And we're going to move on to group 2 with the rose quartz. Hey, group 2. This is if you picked the rose quartz stone right there. Let's get into your reading. So, spiritual gifts. These 2 cards popped out first. This is Nadiz. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but this is the runic rune for like needs and like things that are like detrimental to yourself. And then we have the magician here with, it's just like your, kind of like manifestation card. So maybe those things will pop up in the reading. Let's see. Let's flip over the rest of your cards. We have trust, Kenaz, Uruz, Angel, what do you need to release, breaking bad habits, 7 of cups, and 5 of wands. Cool, cool, cool. Okay, this is interesting here where it says for Angel, it says helping those in need with no expectation of return. And we have the need card over here. And I was already feeling when I saw these 2 cards before I flipped the rest of them over that there might be an aspect where you like help other people get what they need. I'm still looking at some of the other cards, but let me see. Let's see. It's interesting you picked the rose quartz because it says, I am safe, I am secure, in love I trust, my faith endures. And what do you need to release? Waning moon. Interesting. You're kind of similar to the previous group. The previous group had this element of like helping people, or that they were like kind of like destined or meant to help people. This group is like somewhat similar. This group is really good at providing. On one hand, you're a great manifester, but on the other hand, you don't really use it for yourself. You like to manifest things for other people. Like with the magician card, you might actually, for example, like an actual magician, if he was going to cast a spell, he's going to cast a spell not for himself, but for other people. It's interesting. With the trust thing, I am safe, I'm secure, in love I trust, my faith endures. You do have a lot of like faith in your own life and like that you will be taken care of. You're just kind of worried about other people. And with Angel here, I definitely see that. Angels, in my perspective of angels, like to help people or those in need. They kind of like are the volunteers that kind of want to like step up to bat for others. The other thing too is like with 5 of wands real quickly, I'm kind of jumping like at the beginning. I'm going to go through all of them and I think I can go into more detail after. But with 5 of wands and Uruz, you're a very strong personality. Like you are very sturdy, you are strong mentally, psychologically, and you work well in a competitive environment. Like if there's a lot of competition to get where you need to go, you work very well in those environments. You work well with a lot of like high energy kind of like environment type stuff. Yeah, with Kenaz, this card represents the torch. It means something different in this reading, but also with Kenaz, it's like you can bring the heat, or you can like if the heat is brought, you can that expression where it's like you can like handle the heat basically in any kind of situation. You have, with breaking bad habits, you have self-acceptance, excellent mental health, and letting go of vices. That implies that you have amazing, great willpower. So you have like this ability to kind of like conquer the physical in kind of like a somewhat metaphysical way. Yeah, because we definitely see that like with yourself and who you are as a person, you're definitely very strong. And like for like when it comes to yourself and getting what you want for you, you take a very hands-on active approach. We see that with the 5 of wands and your strength. You take this kind of approach because you know that like, and you prefer to be kind of like getting things done for yourself as far as like how you handle your own life. Like you're not the type to like sit there and manifest and wish for things in your own life to happen. You're kind of more of a go out and get it type of person. And you have a lot of trust that you can do this. Like you're very much like a spiritual warrior, is the best way to put it. Um, and it's interesting when you see someone in need or you see someone struggling with this angel card, this need card, and this magician card, which kind of all create this triangle on the outside perimeter of your whole reading. You really go out of your way to help them. I'm seeing this could be on a practical level, but this also is very much on a manifestation level. Like if you see someone suffering and in your mind you start thinking like, man, why are they suffering? They should really be doing better in life. They should have a better position, or they should have a better this, or why are they suffering? Stuff like that, thoughts like that, you're actually manifesting better things into their life. So you might have found out or realized that when you're like living your life, that like if you think something about someone and you're kind of like, why do they have that? Like, I wish they could do better. Like, I feel bad for them. That's where you're kind of like a very empathetic person, but at the same time, that empathy extends out to them and they actually do better, So I'm definitely seeing that a lot of people might not notice your kindness or compassion upon first glance because you're such a tough person with this strength and this Five of Wands card, and you operate very well in competitive environments. People might see you as someone who's like more willing to take someone out, or like, like maybe the type of person who kind of like isn't afraid to like step on a few toes to get where you want to go. And that's the beautiful thing, is that you have the strength to do that. You have the strength to get ahead in life on your own, but at the same time you do have this magical ability with your manifestation to manifest things into other people's lives, other positive things into other people's lives. You might find out that if someone comes to you with some kind of problem or suffering, you almost know with this trust card, it's almost like this. That's the thing with the trust. It's like there's a very close tie and bond with you and the universe where you're kind of like already aware. You don't even have to like question it. It's like you're already aware something good's going to happen for someone, or something, I'm trying to think if it's like something bad could happen to someone. I think if someone was being mean to someone, you saw that too, that would have an effect as well. But the most part, I'm definitely seeing it when it's coming to people in need, when people have like desperate things that they need in their life. Like for example, food, shelter, like money in some cases. Even some people who like maybe need love or something like that. You have a way of manifesting that into those people's lives. Like whatever hardcore basic survival needs, you have a way of like bringing that. The thing is, it's like interesting because you're very like, I want to say you're a very like root chakra person, right? You can operate very well in competitive environments. You have a lot of strength. With this need card, there's also this component that you see other people who don't have what you have, like they don't have your gifts and abilities, and just simply through thinking about helping them, you actually are helping them. Like just the idea of sending your thoughts towards them, those positive thoughts towards them with the Magician card, you definitely have this effect on them that like when you want it for them, they get it for themselves. This can also dwell into certain areas of like with close friendships, like motivation. Like maybe it's like it really does. I'm not kidding you guys. It really does have an effect of just you simply like thinking things for people and then them wanting to do those things, or like starting to do those things or get those material resources in their life. But it also has the effect if you're doing it on more of like a personal level. If you were like talking to your friends or motivating your friends, this could be like a good example of like telling them like, oh, you need to do this and this to get out of this situation. Let me see what else I see here. This is interesting. These cards right here, and we're going to get into Kenna's in a second. Yeah, there is this element here, and I'm wondering how this is a spiritual gift, but maybe it'll make sense to me as I continue reading it. With what do you need to release in Seven of Cups, there is this whole idea that like there are certain things in your life you're unaware of that are like holding you back. Like with Seven of Cups right here, it's like it's very difficult for you to figure out like what kind of cup, so to speak, is like the cup. And Seven of Cups is usually a cup about dreams or like dreaming high in the sky. But this guy kind of has them all on this table in front of him, right? And they're all upside down, so he can't see what's in them. So it's like this idea of like you struggle to find out what you need to release. Yeah, it's coming through because Ken is with the light, shining the light on others, and with trust, I'm definitely seeing like an element of truth too. Yeah, there's an element of like shining the light of truth on other people and their issues, which is like something that you could help yourself with. And I think that's what's coming through in this reading, is that if you take that kind of light or that torch that you use to help others and shine it on yourself, it could benefit you. So specifically with the manifestation and the need card, I know you never use it for yourself, but it could benefit you every once in a while to like manifest something for yourself, or like look at yourself from the outside in and think like, hey, I need this, or like what kind of thing, you know, it doesn't have to apply to needs specifically, but it could apply to like psychological realms. Like what is it inside of me that like needs something, and then wish yourself to get rid of it. You know, so instead of like looking within and just constantly contemplating like, man, what is it that I need to release? Like something's bothering me and I just don't know what it is. Instead of looking at it like that, look at it like, wish it to yourself. Like think to yourself like, oh, something's got this guy down. I want to help him. Hopefully he gets help. But say those words to yourself, you know, like we'll say them to yourself from an outside perspective. And I think you'll be surprised at how certain things just kind of work out, or certain things kind of fall out of your life. So you don't really have to do too much conscious shadow work with this. You just kind of have to like unconsciously present the idea to your brain, or present the idea to your unconscious within your brain, and then it'll kind of unravel the correct way. Yeah, with Kenna's, this is all about like shining light. And with the book here, this is all about enlightenment and intellectual stimulation. So not only are you like a very strong person, very competitive person, a great ability to like help those in need, you also are a very intellectual person. You use your knowledge also to help people. So there is this kind of like, it's not the main component in your spiritual gifts, but it's definitely something that you probably could work on and like develop even further. But it's this idea of using knowledge to like enlighten people. So the more things you read, the more facts you find, the more information you gather, the more when you share that information with others, it can trigger an awakening in them. It can trigger kind of like an enlightenment in them. That's where that motivation comes in. And when I was talking to you about motivating your friends, or kind of like helping them, if you decide to like take these gifts into the verbal realm, that's where this education, this knowledge is really going to help light that spark within them. You're definitely a strong motivator. That is coming through as one of your spiritual gifts, is you're a very strong motivator, but you're also like behind the scenes motivating people. Like with this manifestation card, it's like, you know how to motivate people out of crappy situations just because you see what they need and you like wish them to have that thing. And they like end up getting that thing because you kind of lit that spark, that fire, that spark in them to like go and get that. So very, very, very cool. Very cool person indeed. Yeah, I think that's about it. I think I covered all of it. Yeah, with breaking bad habits, self-acceptance, excellent mental health, and letting go of vices, this strength card is like a really good card for like health on top of just like strength. It means that you have a good vitality, a good constitution. And with Five of Wands, it's like you operate very well in those competitive environments. Like, yeah, you got the whole deal. You got the whole package. All right, so that was it for this reading. I really enjoyed reading for you. If you like the reading, you can like or comment below. If you really like the reading, you can subscribe to my channel. I post pick a cards like this once every 1 to 2 weeks. With that said, we're going to move on to the third group with the Labradorite. Hey, group 3, this is if you picked the Labradorite right there. I'm trying to get it so you can see the shine on it. It's a very pretty stone in the right kind of lighting conditions. Okay, so for your reading, sorry, I have to take off something, a necklace. If you're reading, we started off with the cards that flipped out first with Be Bold and Make the First Move and the Ace of Swords, which kind of like deals with your intelligence, and because it's a cardinal moon, it's all about like being a leader or being someone who's a starter of certain things. But let's get into the rest of your, I'm going to flip over the rest of the cards and see what else pops up in your reading. So we have Friendship, Iwaz, Othala, and Naduez. And for your magic card, we have Philosopher's Stone, powerful manifestation of wishes and goals by harnessing universal energy. And we have Healer. Your tarot cards are the Magician, Eight of Pentacles, and the Ace of Swords. Wow, I kind of like, I was reviewing all the cards on this side, and then all of a sudden I was like, I saw these two cards and it just clicked, like your actual gift clicked into place. Yeah, and this is just a little confidence booster for if you ever need help with like moving forward from like a lower place to a higher place. Okay, so let's get into it. So first of all, we'll start with healer. So first of all, your primary mode is like healing, or the ultimate end goal is like to be a healer for others. But it's a little bit more complex than that, because you're also in a way healing yourself, and you're also being able to manifest things for yourself. But it's through healing others specifically, and not necessarily like, okay, let me backtrack a little bit. It's not necessarily through healing others, but like how you heal is kind of like the same way you manifest for yourself, which you also do for others. So this just shows that one of your spiritual gifts is like being very kind to people and being able to like find out what's wrong with them and kind of like help them get over it, or help them heal past it, or transform their pain into like loving vibes, basically. And we see that again here with the friendship vibe. This is like your power move. Like the more friends you have, the stronger your constitution. Like the more friends you have, the more powerful your manifestation becomes, because you're right here. This card says, powerful manifestation of wishes and goals by harnessing universal energy. And it's specifically talking about the universal energy of your friendships. So the more friends you have from different areas of your life, the stronger your manifestation abilities are going to become. It's interesting. We also have kind of like the fact that you build these friendships slowly over time with Eight of Pentacles. Like, and this also attributes to like other things you do over time, like basically being able to like practice something over and over again to become good at it. You're not afraid of putting in the routine, the routinized work to get ahead in something. With Ace of Swords, this just shows that like it flipped out first just to show that like you're extremely intelligent. Like you will be using your intelligence to like handle most things in life. Like you might define yourself as like a very intelligent person, or someone who's very smart or very bright or brilliant. You might think that about yourself, like like low key on the inside. You might not say it to people, but you might think like, wow, like I'm pretty much a genius, because I feel like you have like very inspired thoughts that are like very unique and different, and you probably are aware of this just by your perspective and how your perspective is with like against other people. But it's interesting. Normally I would get with this card like more of like an introvert type, but you have this like double-sided thing going on where you literally, and especially with Ewas here, which is the horse card, which literally means like the vehicle through which you journey. So it's interesting. So it's like your ability to like move through friends, like, and be friends with people and heal people. That's kind of how you journey through life. That's kind of like your experiences, is like the people you collect, right? The people you have around you, the psychologies you get to delve into. That's all kind of like a really important part of like your healing. And also with the manifestation, with the Philosopher's Stone too, is like that's the way you're gonna be like manifesting too. Is like with Ace of Swords, it's about like connecting inspired thoughts with these friends and like kind of creating this kind of like alchemy through like the fact that like on one hand you're like, see, there's a lot going on one hand you're healing them with like, which is a very kind of like more like emotional thing. On the other hand, with the Ace of Swords, there's an intellect factor with like bridging the intellect between you and your friends. And if it's not bridging the intellect between you guys, it's your intellect fueling the friendship activities, which is kind of this dualistic kind of thing where you have the inspired thoughts, the enlightened thoughts in your mind fueling the kind of connections you achieve with other people. And the vehicle through which you move through life, the way you kind of like feel your way around these things, is through like friendships and communications with people and people's psychology, and like figuring things out about people and what they need and how to help them. Also, it's interesting with Othala here. This is like a rune about inheritance, or kind of like the home or the hearth. It can represent kind of like a very Ten of Pentacles type of vibe. You really attract a lot of like wealth to you. And it's also tied in with Nadus, which is needs, which is kind of like your basic needs, like food, shelter, and like survival type stuff. You always are kind of taken care of in that department because you attract a lot of good vibrations your way. Yeah, with Othala, it's like With the crab, I'm definitely saying that like your home life is important to you, even though you have this kind of journeying mentality to have like all these different friends. It's like when you come back home in the end of the day, it's like that's where your kind of like peacefulness is. This is kind of like your saving grace right here. And this is interesting that it came out with the Ace of Swords, because the Ace of Swords really does represent like an enlightened thought, especially this card. If you look at this card, the way her mind is like shining lights out of it and she's like aware and her eyes are closed. Think of your mind just like being so, this is kind of like, you can think of this too as like your intuition, but think of like the thoughts you have as being like inspired, or like kind of like the part of you that is like handed to you from like God or the goddess or whatever you believe in, from a divine source. Those thoughts are inspired. You have inspired thinking. You have enlightened thinking. And I can see that sometimes your enlightened thoughts tell you to be friends with someone. Like they tell you, like with this journeying card, like moving towards someone or moving towards a specific person or a friend. You have very strong instincts with people. You have very good people instincts. And when you move towards these people, or when you're going towards a person that you want to be your friend, you might get stuck along the way. You might, because I'm sensing that you could be with this Othala card, like sticking to home and having that home-based connection. You might be a little shy sometimes, like when it comes to like certain people, but it's interesting. I can definitely tell that once you've made that bridge, once you've made that new friend, like once you've connected with that person, the shyness just goes away and you're like totally yourself. You can totally be yourself and you're like understanding them, because as the healer, you're like digging into kind of like their needs and what their kind of like pain is, and like helping to heal them. And this is literally harnessing universal energy. You learn about the universe through these friendships, through meeting people. And so be bold and make the first move is just something to say that like, trust these thoughts. That's why these two came out at first. Trust these thoughts. Trust these inspired thoughts you have towards people. Be bold and make the first move. Remember, your thoughts are divinely guided. So you're going to know the right person to connect with. You're going to know the right person to make a connection with. Your instincts are rarely going to mislead you in this department. Yeah, because I'm noticing that some of these friends that you're kind of attracted to, or that you would want to be friends with, might be like, not off-putting is the wrong word. They might have like walls up, you know, or they might have been hurt before with this healer card, and the fact that you're healing these people, they might have been hurt before. But remember, you move through this world, and especially with this horse card, Iwaz, horses also represent freedom. So think of it this way: the more you let yourself out of your cage, the more you let yourself roam, the more you let yourself experience. And just so you know too, like, I know this is really encouraging you to like be bold and make the first move with making these friendship connections, and I'm feeling that like most of the time you normally do. The other thing too is like there's a lot of fish in the sea. There's a lot of people in the sea, right? Maybe if someone's not meant to be your friend at one point in your life, they're meant to be your friend at another point in life. Remember, and this is all to help you learn. This is like the gift you have, is to understand the psychology of those around you and kind of learn through, you know, meeting these people and understanding these people and having experiences and living with these people. The way you move with your friends in this world, it's going to really help inspire those thoughts and that understanding and that knowledge, and really fuel that ability to manifest. If you find that you're like struggling with manifesting, it's because you probably are spending too much time alone, too much time at home, which is healthy for you, might I add. It's really healthy to like take care of your needs and like revitalize yourself and refuel yourself. But you don't want to get too stuck in that mindset, because your natural vibe is to flow out with people, interact with people, adapt to people, feel people out, become friends with people, bond with people, connect with people. Yeah, and then some of your other side gifts with the home, you really can like relax at home. Like I can see when you're like later in life and you're married and settled down and stuff, I still see you keeping up with a lot of these friends, but I'm definitely seeing that when you like find a commitment with someone, you can really settle down and like get down to like the basics of like the home and the hearth. And with Eight of Pentacles here, you have the ability to stick to it with things. Like you have this ability to like stick to routine. And basically like really, how do I put this? You have the ability to really build your repertoire over time. So you're kind of like, in a way, you're slow and steady wins the race. And that also applies, I think, with the friendships. It's not like you're going out one night and like meeting like 5 billion people, like you're not meeting like tons of people in one night and just like, oh, I met all these acquaintances, blah, blah, blah. No, you making real, true connections that are healing with these people. And the Ace of Swords card is that thought, that inspired thought that leads you to those friends. That's kind of the key here. And be bold and make the first move is just kind of like a little helpful advice to basically kind of get you flowing in the right direction. If you ever feel stuck, or if you ever feel like life's not moving forward, it's because you need more universal energy, which is the friends and the people you connect with. And so that universal energy is like understanding the universe. The universe is going to be constantly giving you things. I don't think you have to fear about it running out or anything. You're going to be constantly learning new things from new and different people. So that universal energy is what's going to help you manifest. And so having those friends around, or even reconnecting with an old friend who might need some healing help, it's interesting. You kind of have to remember your friends in this pile with this group, because your spirituality comes from your connections with people. It comes from that camaraderie you build with people. So healing your friends is really going to help you manifest better. Making new friends is going to help you manifest better. Spreading that love. This is a very like heart chakra focused group. I'm surprised this is not the rose quartz group, but yeah, this is very much like, and with this freedom card, you're going to have the ability to freely roam and like maneuver how you want, you know? Yeah, I think that's about it. Wow, really cool. I'm imagining you're very, very popular because this is just like someone who would be very popular, or like basically a lot of people would like this person or would like you. So another, I guess a spiritual gift could be likability. That could be a spiritual gift, right? Anyway, so if you like the reading, you can like or comment below. If you really like the reading, subscribe to my channel. I post readings like this once every 1 to 2 weeks. With that said, we're going to move on to the fourth group with the Amethyst. Hey, group 4. This is if you picked the Amethyst cluster. It's very pretty in dark purple. Okay, so let's get into your reading. So a few of the cards that flipped up upright when I was shuffling were Isa, which is like the ice, represents ice. It's the rune of ice, and Dagas that represents the rune of like daytime or daylight. You also got Love Charm, attract a lover, soulmate, or life partner. And Shapeshifter and Messiah both flipped out, and I could not decide which one to pick, so I just took them both. They honestly seem to both fit, and so this is just one of those piles that you're going to get 2 cards for this position. All right, let's flip over the rest of the cards and see what you got. You have Joy, Perthrow, and Expect Powerful Change, New Moon Eclipse, King of Cups, Ace of Swords, and 8 of Swords reversed. Yeah, there is some, there's a lot of celestial energy going on here. There's a lot of symbolism with the moons in these 2 cards, and Dagas representing the day and the sun, and then also the new moon eclipse, which is the, why can't I remember if this is the sun behind the moon or if this is like the earth hitting the moon? Oh my gosh, I'll have to look that up. Anyway, but the new moon is very important. That's what I'm trying to get at here. And with the sun, you know, that's also very important. It's interesting in this Love Charm, because it flipped out first and there's the Shapeshifter and Messiah card. I'm definitely seeing that, first of all, I don't know if there's a real term for this in the spiritual community, but we're just going to call you a day walker. It means that you get a lot of your energy from daylight, from the sunlight, from being in the sun, from the sunshine. So you're going to have a lot of spiritual gifts dealing with like things that get their energy from the sun. So like plants, or what else gets their energy from the sun? All I can think of right now is plants. Yeah, plants and flowers specifically is coming through pretty strong. That you might actually be really like bond really well with like plant life. With the sun card also, it might with Isa in the new moon. It's like interesting because like it's almost like you're frozen at night basically, and especially like certain times with like The full moon is probably a little more harder for you to deal with on nights where there's a full moon. I'm seeing that more of like when there's a new moon, and like it's probably easier for you to sleep like better, and then also like in the daytime you get more of your energy. Um, yeah, with this joy card, it's also reminding me of the sun card in tarot. So there's just a lot of factors about like you being like really revitalized and energized by the sun or by daylight. So you're not the type of person who's going to have like be like nocturnal for the most part. Or if you are, you're almost living a lifestyle that's like counter to what you really could like positively experience. Yeah, with the bearing fruit card with next to Dagos, it's like, and this Isa card with the bat, it's reminding me of like being frozen at night, like not even being able to really move at night. Like it's important to kind of like stay still at night and like not make too much of a ruckus, I guess is the best way to put it. But in the day, freely move around and like be yourself during the day. You get a lot of energy from the sun. I wouldn't be surprised if like your like if I don't know if you work with divine entities like deities, but Apollo could be someone you would really want to work with. He's like the Greek sun god. He might be really like important for you to work with. Yeah, with this King of Cups card, with the Ace of Swords, with the light shining out of the head, and also with this King of Cups, like the yellow. I don't know if you can barely see that, but the yellow glow behind his head. I'm definitely seeing that like the sun, like you don't necessarily have to look directly at the sun, but it's like the sun is always watching over you. It's always protecting you. It's always there for you. That's like something that's coming in really strong. There was a story I read. It was a mythology story. I don't know if it's called. I think one's called Cupid and Psyche, but there's another one that's like Apollo and Daphne or something. Is that correct? I don't know the story, but basically like Apollo falls in love with this like I think she's immortal. But anyway, it's like you're looked after by Apollo. Like Apollo really like wants to watch over you and guide you, and it's almost like you have this connection with him. With Shapeshifter, it's interesting. I definitely see you have the ability to like manipulate and be very adaptable. That's another spiritual gift you have. You really can adapt to many different situations. Even at night, you can still adapt to many situations. It's just that you feel more comfortable in the daytime. And you experience a lot of joy in the daytime. There's a lot of positivity, a lot of happiness, you know? Something that might bring you a lot of joy is waking up right before the sun rises and like being there right when the sun rises. Like if you're a morning person, that's really important. That would be really, really cool. Yeah, with King of Cups, music might be very important to you, might be very healing to you, and you might be able to heal other people with music. With Eight of Swords here, it's interesting. We have like this card of this woman like looking into the mirror and she's being tangled, but in the reverse, she's free. She's already like the mirror's below her and she's just sitting there looking at kind of this past behind her. There is this element that once you like delve into the daylight or like hit the sunlight, it's like all your worries fade away. So just I know I'm like really stressing the sunlight thing. I probably should move on to some of your other spiritual gifts, but there is a lot of energy here. There is a lot of like energy with that kind of like sun energy. Expect powerful change, new moon eclipse, and love charm. Let's get into this. So you have the ability to like choose who you want to love and like make that like a commitment. So like attract a lover, soulmate, or life partner. You're very, very attractive to people. I don't know if that's a spiritual gift, but you are very attractive to people. You have this kind of like innate charm when to get what you need out of people, to like kind of get what you want, or like get what's the best way to put it? Like if you like someone, you know how to like shape shift and adapt to their needs to like kind of become their best lover, basically. Like, and you really like give them that whole experience. You really give them that whole kind of like enriching experience of love, connection, seduction, all of that. You really give them that kind of cool thing. With expect powerful change, when you get a relationship with someone, or when you date someone, or someone becomes your boyfriend or girlfriend, or a partner, basically, you will really change their life, like very like powerfully. That's kind of what the expect powerful change in the love charm is coming in to say. Ace of Swords also talks about you having inspired thoughts. Another group also had this card, so you're gonna share that trait with the other group. You have these inspired thoughts, and It's interesting. I'm also seeing that with Messiah, you're also a person who's in service of like humanity and the greater good. So you definitely want the best for people. You want everyone to have like the best life, and you kind of serve people with kind of like, you're very humble basically. So even though you're very seductive and you're very adaptable, you're also very humble. You don't kind of like go out of your way or like have a huge ego or kind of like try to, you're not like that really. Something to keep in mind at nighttime, if you are like struggling at night, or like you have to be awake at night for long periods of time, or maybe you just ended up at the type of person that like is awake at night. Maybe you're like, if you got this far in this reading and you're kind of like, you know what, I'm not a sun person, like I hate the sun, this is probably not your pile. But if you are stuck at night or you have to be at night a lot, with Isa, this is indicating that lighting some candles at night would be really beneficial to warm up the atmosphere, or like having like a little fire. Like if you have a fireplace in your house, to have a little fire. You really get your energy from the sun, and your joy, your positivity also comes from the sun. I'm also seeing too, on like really hot days, if the sun feels too hot for you, to like with the King of Cups, to like go into water or like get into water, and it's like going to help cool you off and like keep the light on you basically. Yeah, with Ace of Swords and Dagos, this is also talking about enlightenment. This is also talking about your spiritual path, your spiritual destiny is to become enlightened. Um, yeah. With Dagos too, the transformation, and Isa, this bat hanging upside down in this cocoon. I'm seeing these two very like similarly. Like this is being the cocoon, and then this butterfly with her wings spread. There is this element that like you're transforming the darkness into the light, and that's really cool with Expect Powerful Change as well, because with an eclipse, it's literally a darkness blocking off the light. So you can think of it less like transforming darkness into light, but just kind of pulling the darkness away and then shining the light on that darkness. So people have really transformative experiences in your presence, especially your lovers or people you're like connected to on an intimate level. There's something about you that like through your physical seductiveness, I guess is the best way to put it, you shine light on like their darker aspects and make them feel joy and positive and like happy. Yeah, and with bearing fruit, you're definitely like rich in mind, body, and soul. And you also like this is random, but you might be like, if you're a woman, you might be actually like very fertile, as far as like you could get might be able to get pregnant easily. Um let's see. Yeah, with this attractiveness thing, you definitely have this like attractive like ability to you to like shapeshift and adapt. So like with this coming out with the shapeshifter card and the helping people, you don't do this in a malicious way. It's not like you're shapeshifting to become someone to like take advantage of people. You're literally trying to help them. I definitely see with like the loves connections and stuff, it's not like you're shapeshifting to like get with someone and then have them have like this thing where they like fall in love with someone they didn't expect or something like that. It's like you're really just kind of getting to their level to adapt with them, and it's kind of like enjoyed by both parties. Like they enjoy the fact that you're kind of shifting and adapting to them, and like you enjoy the fact that like you're kind of like helping shine light on this person's like dark areas. I'm trying to see if I can see anything else. I don't know why, but that sun thing is coming through strongly. If you don't already work with Apollo as a deity, you might want to try to work with him. He'd probably be very helpful. Um, yeah, with King of Cups, you're almost the master of your emotions. So don't people are probably surprised by like how strong and secure you are, and the fact that like you do not budge in your like emotional kind of like, I guess, the emotional decisions, but also like emotional stability is what I'm kind of going for here. So you basically have the ability to kind of like, with like the choice thing, like I mentioned earlier with the love and stuff, it's like you have this ability to make a choice with someone and know it's kind of like the right choice. Like with the person, very similar to pile three actually, with their how they chose their friends. If you want to watch that one, um, but yeah, very cool, very cool. All right, well, if you like that reading, you can like or comment below. If you really like that reading, subscribe to my channel. I post pick a cards like this about once every 1 to 2 weeks. With that said, we're going to move on to the last group, group 5, with the Lapis Lazuli. Hey, group 5, this is if you picked the Lapis Lazuli Palm Stone. Very cool stone. Over there on that. That's its good side. Okay, so let's get into your reading. So we had these 3 cards pop up upright when I was shuffling, and then these ones were kind of had to be drawn and were hidden, the hidden cards. So with King, we have enlightened, benevolent leadership, benefiting those in your charge. Good cheer with kind heart and humor free. You may good cheer rule, so mote it be. Oh, that's cool with King. May good cheer rule, like ruling, like a king. Interesting. Confidence is your key to success. New moon in Leo. And star, the silver energy of the star brings good luck and serendipity. All right, let's flip over your other cards and see what you've got. Man, it's interesting. Each one of these cards popped out in one of the other piles. Yeah, interesting. You have like a mix of all 4 of the previous piles, like as far as your spiritual gifts in this pile, interestingly enough. 4 of Cups reversed. The Devil reversed. Oh, that's an interesting. Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay, let's get into your reading, guys. Okay, so good cheer. This is like your power move. So what kind with a kind heart and humor free, may good cheer rule, so mote it be. So basically this is like basically saying that like your positivity is, and like how infectious you are with your positivity, and the fact that you kind of rule with this sense of like humor, and you rule with this sense of like good faith, and you rule with this sense of like humor's coming through really strongly here. So you might be someone who's like really funny. You might be someone who kind of like has a like leads people, but like uses humor in order to lead. Like you're not really the type of person who rules with like an iron fist. You rule with kind of like a velvet glove. Sorry, I bumped the camera. With King, enlightened, benevolent leadership, benefiting those in your charge. This is all about basically being a leader. So the King vibe, and especially with good cheer, this is very interesting. So a lot of leaders rule with kind of like a pragmatic approach. Like they think that like, especially like a boss in a work environment is going to rule with kind of like the idea of like being a very pragmatic, kind of like ruling with like, okay, no fun group. Like you have to get your work done. No fun. You're not allowed to have any fun. You know, you let people in the work environment, or people that rule, like you ruling or are under you, if you are a boss, you let them have a little bit of fun in that work environment, knowing that like the good humor is like what fuels the energy of your constituents, basically, if you're the king. So you realize that like you're kind of a king that leads with like good feeling. So if you are ruling in like, for example, I mean, you keep using this king metaphor or a boss metaphor, but if you are ruling in kind of like a medieval age or something like that, or some other time and place that's not here and now, the way you would rule, you would set up your kingdom so everyone around you would be like happy and positive and loving towards each other. With good cheer, there would be just like so much like positivity throughout your kingdom. And that's kind of what this kind of combination is really saying, you know, that like you really have this ability to kind of like provide that for other people. Now, one of the little advices here with confidence is your key to success. One of the things that's like coming through to like help with this spiritual gift. The spiritual gift is basically, you're basically able to kind of like create situations where positivity can naturally amplify. So for example, it's not necessarily like making a good joke, although you might be very humorous, you might be very funny. You know how to position certain people and situations in like to create those positive moments. You might be a very good like social connector as far as like bringing 2 people together from different backgrounds that you kind of know the chemistry. Think of yourself as kind of like a chemist, but like on a large scale. Like you know how to bring this group with this group, and then you know that chemical reaction between those people is going to create like a positive reaction. That's kind of like a vibe that you're kind of like, that we've got going on here with good cheer, especially with the 2 people here kind of clicking, and they're kind of like together. There's definitely like this vibe of like you can like bring these people together and then have them cheer, laugh, enjoy themselves. And you kind of like don't even have to like even get involved. It's like you're ruling kind of from afar, but you like create this positive environment. You're definitely the type of person, if you have a family, every person in your family is going to feel positive and happy because you're going to place them in the certain correct places so they can like have those experiences with each other. You know where to put one person and another person together to create that kind of experience. And I'm saying this is like somewhat like it seems very like a conscious type thing. You might even do this like unconsciously and not even realize it. Like you might end up one day having one friend in this friend group, and then the other day a friend invites you over to somewhere else, and you kind of bring them together, and you just know in your head like they'll mesh, they won't, that kind of thing. Confidence is definitely your key to success. We see with Uruz, the strength card, you're a very strong person. Unlike group 2, who is very, very competitive, and they're also very strong, I do not see you being that competitive, but you are very strong. You're a sense of stability to those around you. And especially with this Nadhus card, this is like basically taking care of those basic needs of those people around you. So you are in a way like a patron or a benefactor or someone who can really take care of the needs of those around you. You really enjoy as the king of your community, you really enjoy like taking care of everyone else around you. You kind of feel like you are responsible for them, so to say. You feel like you need to take care of them in the sense of like you need to be a provider for them, kind of. You're kind of take on that mama or papa role, basically. And then with the strength card, this is just showing that you're like very strong and you have that kind of strength to deal with a lot of life's struggles and life's hardships. You have kind of like a high resistance to stress, might I say. With confidence as your key to success, this is kind of like the factor that kind of like makes you successful. With Star, the silver energy of the star brings good luck and serendipity. This is kind of the energy, this lioness energy. I wouldn't be surprised if people in this pile are actually Leos, or a lot of you are Leos. But yeah, the thing is with this confidence is your key to success. It's all about like having confidence when you go into situations where you are unsure of yourself, like putting on a little bit of confidence in situations where you're not really sure, but you want something to happen, you want to be successful. This is mainly regarding personal success. I see that you really help other people be successful and it's quite easy for you. But like with personal success, confidence is the key. Confidence is that X factor, basically, that like helps people get admired and enamored with you, because I'm definitely seeing that like sometimes as a king, you probably don't get like the recognition you deserve. Like if you think of a lot of kings, it's like, and like just a day-to-day typical politics, like, a politician can be very good. They can make people very happy, but like if they don't have that confidence, they can't achieve the position where they can make those people happy. So in order to achieve that position where you can get the most good done for other people, you have to be confident. Like learning to be confident, maybe digging into your own issues, even maybe like shadow work if you have to like get that confidence, like to dig in deep and like to bring that confidence in from the inside. Even faking it to making it confidence is going to help your situation. People look at you and they want to see confidence. So it's going to be difficult for you to like show up to someone and be kind of like, I think with your close friends, you can be in like a more vulnerable position, but when you're going into like superficial situations or situations where it's like a work environment or somewhere where you need to get something or an interview or something like that, confidence is really like going to be your key. And with Isa right here, this ice card, this represents like your defenses. It's like, it represents that like with this good cheer and this like positive atmosphere, there's going to be some people in the world where you can't be that way around, who are going to do not want to have that good cheer. Like there's just some people who want to be miserable. Let's just put it that way. There's some people who want to like just not be happy. And when you're around those people, they might try to like, I don't know if attack you is the right word. They might kind of like give you dirty looks or something like that. That's just probably the best way that's probably what's going to happen, to be honest. But with Isa right here, it's representing that you can kind of like close up and like wrap yourself in kind of like this kind of like cocoon, and you can kind of like freeze up. Interestingly enough, with the strength right here, I would say it's not durable to do that because it is the ice card and ice can be easily shattered. But with this strength card, you have the ability to withstand this. It's like you're protected by a divine force that prevents these people from attacking you. So just keep that in mind next time you're like dealing with people like this. I don't see them being able to like hurt you that much, even if you think they are. And that's the thing. Sometimes kings can get a little paranoid. You know, that's why they have their advisors to like, you know, advisor whispering in their ear. And you've heard the story about the advisor. Like I think it's in Lord of the Rings. There's that advisor to the king, and he's whispering all the negative things, nasty things into his ear. Kings can be prone to paranoia. So don't let these people that give you dirty looks or kind of like you don't have to be paranoid about them. Like they can't harm you. They can't do anything to you. They might be like a little intimidating, but they can't do anything to you. Like really. The other thing too is with Four of Cups, back to good cheer, just to reemphasize this, with Four of Cups, this just indicates that you keep people interested. You keep people like excited. You keep people not bored. Four of Cups is a card upright about apathy. Like if you look at this girl on this card, she's just bored out of her mind. Someone's offering her a cup and she doesn't accept it. And that's the thing is like with you get people into that state where they want to accept things from the universe. They want to accept things from people. They want to accept like different opportunities, you know? You get them kind of motivated with this positive energy to like kind of go out there and like get things, you know? Let's see, with the Devil card and the Three of Swords card, this is pertaining to close connections. I'm definitely seeing that you might actually struggle with certain close connections, being detrimental to you. And it's like this good cheer is like definitely a factor and helps with the larger community. But sometimes you have someone getting, like I said with that advisor, that whispering things into your ear, you know, sometimes kings can attract the wrong type of person. And sometimes with that person, the Three of Swords and the Devil card is just indicating like breaking away from this type of person. And being able to do so in the most effective way possible. Three of Swords literally talks about cord cutting and kind of like when you're in your privacy of your own home or by yourself, like just imagine like cutting that cord between you and that person who's kind of ingratiating yourself. See this Devil card, he's like literally holding the person with can you see that? He's like holding him with cords. Like he's like literally holding him with cords. And this Three of Swords, this woman is like tied to a cord. So basically it's all about cord cutting. It's about breaking free of those strings. You are no one's puppet. You are not an advisor's puppet. You are a king. You know, like there could be advisors that come your way or people that are kind of like good for you that help you with that stuff. But if you know they're bad, you have those good instincts. That's the thing. You have those good instincts. And if someone is a bad person or they don't have your best intentions or they want you to do negative things or they want you to do things that are against your good, innate good nature, don't let them. Cord cut those people out of there. And remember, just any kind of superficial thing, any kind of like job opportunity, anything, a little bit of confidence can go a long way, you know? And also with the star, the silver energy of the star brings good luck and serendipity. I know I covered this already, but just this is a very positive omen that you are looked out for. The universe is on your side. That's another spiritual gift you have, is that you're just kind of, the universe is on your side and things are gonna go well for you. Keep being that pillar of strength. Thank you for helping to take care of everyone's needs. I think everyone appreciates that. And spreading that good cheer. I mean, that's the main thing, is like, that's what you realize as as who you are, what motivates people is that kind of good cheer, that positivity, that kind of like ability to put two people in one place and have them build that connection and motivation to keep working hard together. No one said that, you know, positivity and happiness and like good humor and fun cannot accompany motivation. It often does. So yeah, kudos to you. You're an amazing person. Yeah, if you like that reading, you can like or comment below. If you really like the reading, subscribe to my channel. I post pick-a-cards like this once every 1 to 2 weeks. With that said, this was the last reading, so I bid you adieu, and I will see you guys in the next pick-a-card.